There are many occasions when using a conventional street address is really not adequate to completely specify where you want to put a sign. So today we're going to talk about using map pins for location. We're already logged into our SignTraker system, and in this case, let's say we're going to go with a two-post billboard, for example. By the way, you can always look at post samples here. But let's say we got a two-post billboard, and we know, or all we know, is that the location is out on Hill Circle, and that's in this case, Evergreen, Colorado. So the address lookup will give you the street. So we have the street, but that's not adequate because we don't have a street number. So SignTraker now automatically posts this little map up here for you, so you can actually locate where you want to put this sign. Now we can, zoom in here and use this method, or we can also go full screen. And you can see in our map here that the location we want is right in here. This is where the new home is going to be available to be built. So I'm going to drag this pin right over here. And note that the placement is quite exact. That means if you put this pin over here, the sign's going to go in the wrong place. So be very specific about where you want to put this pin. The other thing you can also do is use a satellite view to sort of, make sure you're in the right spot. So here we got a satellite view, and in fact, that's exactly what we want. We know the plat for this property is right in this little V section. So once we have that, we'll minimize this window. We're going to put in a 0 here. Now, you might actually have a street number, but in this case, we don't have one. So we're going to put a 0 in for this. And we might also want to put an additional note, but in this case, we don't really have to do that. And there we go. We have it all set. If we want to verify it, by the way, we can also go and click the map, and it'll bring us back to the generic Google view, and we can come back and zoom in and in fact validate that the placement we want is right here. Now there's another way we can approach this by using intersections. Let's look at a specific example. So in this case, the subject lot actually is rather unusually shaped, and it has frontage on two major roads, Interstate 30 and Irby Campbell. Now, if we wanted to, let's say this whole thing was one plat, we could just put a sign like right there in that corner. But in this case, we want to show how we can get right into that little lane, because we want to have the sign facing I-30, and we want to make it easy for the installer. So we're going to go back to our ordering system. And since I-30 is quite long, we're going to keep it a little bit narrowed down. We're going to start with the intersection definition on the Irby Campbell side. And you can see how it's, as before, giving us the whole thing there, but we're going to narrow this down and say Irby Campbell and I-30. And we see our system's figured that out for us. We're going to click on that, and there's our pin. Now, again, we're going to expand this slightly and zoom in a little more, and we can see that Google Maps has provided us a little more detail on the subject area. And I'm going to zoom in really tight here. This is quite exact, so I want to make sure I get this pin right where I want it to be, right in that corner, because we know that's quite narrow, and we want it to be seen from I-30. So we've gone ahead and got that done. We're going to close this out. And again, we're going to specify 0, and we're going to say I-30 frontage, near Irby. Now, keep in mind that the installer is going to be navigated directly to this location using this pin. So this information here is mostly for his or her consumption, just a little general information, but they're going to go right to where that pin is. So we're going to say that's done, and we've in fact specified that. If we want to add additional notes, we can go ahead and do that. That's how we go about specifying a intersection for sign placement. If you have any questions, feel welcome to give us a call here or send an email at info@signtraker.com.